What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Play Legit podcast, episode 14. We are back and we are celebrating 40 years of domination for Pac-Man. KJ, what's going on, man?
What's happening, man? It's a celebration today, man.
Oh, yeah, 40 years of Pac-Man. When you brought this to my attention, I was like, man, it's been 40 years. And then I realized how old I am. I'm going to be 32. In September. So I'm like, oh, well, I mean, I guess it's only 8 years before I was born, which is a crazy realization. I guess I'm an old person. It's super crazy because I
Yeah,
don't
you
feel
old,
that way,
man.
but it's wild. It's crazy. My daughter's, told me that for a while. And I'm like, dude, I'm not even that old. And now I'm like, Pac-Man's 40. It's only 8 years. It's crazy. I don't even want to think about it, man. Stuff's
She
nuts.
was right.
She was right. These darn kids. Kids say the darndest things. But yeah, so it's going to be a great episode. We're going to get into a bunch of stuff. But before we do, we just want to make sure you guys check out playlegit.net because that's the home, that's the hub. That's the place where you're going to find the Play Legit podcast, as well as a bunch of other places as well. You're going to find us on Spotify. You're going to find us on YouTube. Of course, you guys love us on YouTube. And you're going to newly find us on iTunes. Yes, we finally got the podcast on iTunes, so you can find us across the board on all of the major podcasting platforms, on your major video platform, and as well as playlegit.net. That's the home, that's the hub, that's where you're going to find original reviews, articles, 8-bit trolls, a bunch of dope stuff. So you're going to want to check out the site. You're going to want to subscribe to us on all the other platforms as well, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, we're everywhere. We keep it legit on all social media platforms. So come hang out with us. Come say what's up. We do want to do a couple shout outs for everybody too, because last episode did really well. The comments were lit. We want you guys to keep on lighting up them comments. It's been super fire. They just keep on getting better and better. And, the legit fam, they come up with these thorough comments that are super good. It's not just like those trolly comments that we're getting. You guys are really coming in. You're giving your opinions. We're asking questions. You guys are answering them, to the fullest. It's super amazing. We definitely appreciate you guys doing that. So we want to highlight a few comments that we think are pretty dope. Did you have one off top while I pull one up, or?
No, you can do your thing, but I just want to say, if there's anything that y'all want us to talk about gaming related, let us know too, and we will try to work with you. I'm going to be real with you. I'm not going to take everybody's things, but if I'm just being real, man, because that's what we do here. But for the most part, we will try our best to honor what y'all want to talk about. So, because we're here for y'all, we do this show for y'all, and that's what it is.
Yeah, you already know. So let's get into a couple of these comments. So first one off top. So last episode 13, we were talking about the Atari VCS. So we got a lot of people coming in with a lot of, comments about that. We got Tony K saying, informing us, I should say, Atari VCS designer sues company for unpaid salary. Rob Wyatt says he's owed $260,000 for creating the crowdfunded console. And then he goes on. That was by a person named, he was quoting someone, ONS Good. And then he said, I'm not going to say the word. Yeah, okay, these clowns can't pay anyone, and people got jacked for their cash who bought it. So he had some information on the VCS that I wasn't aware of. We didn't get to, so we appreciate you bringing that to the table too. Just to be fair, we have to be objective. Like, we don't know if this is completely legitimate. Did they really withhold, people's money or whatnot? Who knows? We'll have to look into that more. But I think that's a good comment. Bring that, that's kind of something else to kind of shine light on what we were kind of saying about the Atari, how it kind of just seems like, I don't know exactly what they're trying to do. And his comment kind of seems like it's a cash grab. So that was pretty thought out. I appreciate that one. We got another comment from Easy G. That's Easy space capital G. What's up? You're a capital G. We're all capital G's here at Play Legit.
Wow.
Even though I have a lot of questions and some problems with the Amico, at least the Amico has released a ton of information / demos for the system. The Atari VCS info / gameplay is barely available anywhere.
Gameplay.
So EZG just keeping it real, like, hey, I'm not even fully on board with the Amico, but at least they're being like transparent, being straight up honest with us. And then the next comment comes from friend of the show, Play Legit fam. We might as well call him Tommy Tallarico. Chimes in with, yo, another great episode, and thanks for the shout out. Not sure if you're aware, but I worked on Cool Spot, which may or may not have been the reason why I brought it up. Uh, in the first place, just knowing some of the people that were over at Intellivision. I did some of the design and all of the audio. My art director at Intellivision is Mike Dietz. He was the art and animation director for Cool Spot 2. And my best friend and co-founder for the new Intellivision is David Perry. He was the programmer. We actually have 6 people from the original Cool Spot team working on Intellivision stuff. After the game Cool Spot, that same team did Disney's Aladdin and then Earthworm Jim 1 and 2. We have a game called Dyna Blasters, which was the German version of Bomberman. We are reimagining that, and it will be available at launch, like we talked about. And then going into my pick, one of my picks for the Miko, which I thought was cool. He says, Echo the Dolphin, wouldn't that be something, with a winky emoji face? We're working with the original creator and team on something. Make sure to check out our gameplay trailers. PS Family / Group of Dolphins is a pod, which I didn't know, and I
It's
will
a
never
pod,
forget.
Koerri.
It's a pod. It's a pod of dolphins. So chiming in, it looks like I was, I mean, I don't know. I may have been sniffing in the right direction with my Amico picks. If they do come to
Hey,
fruition, I'll just say maybe
don't
I'm.
forget about me. Look, it was the German version of Bomberman, okay, but it's still a variation of Bomberman. So what I said went through too,
Hey, hey,
okay.
like I said, we're all capital G's here at Play Legit. So thanks.
Somebody else said Crazy Taxi, and I actually had that going through my mind before I put my list together. So it was cool that though I didn't finalize that as a pick for last week's podcast, to read a comment somebody else put that down, I was like, yeah, that's awesome. So 2 shall agree, Crazy Taxi, Television Amico, let's get it.
Yes, sir.
Or a German version of something.
And then we'll go into, let's do just one more real quick. This is from a Shondell Rivers. I am excited about Intellivision Amico, but I'm actually more excited about Atari VCS because I'm not really an Intellivision fan. I'm more of a new Atari fan. I am so looking forward to it. I think Atari VCS looks amazing to me, but I know a lot of people have been very negative about the Atari VCS. They think it's a scam and that it's not going to fail. They don't like what they're doing. They have concerns. There's no periods. I'm sorry. Concerns only. Some of us have been very positive about the Atari VCS, that love what they are doing. I have no concerns about the Atari VCS. I think it has potential because I love what Atari is doing, and I'm happy that Atari is making a comeback. There's a lot more that he has here, but he seems to be a devout fan of Atari. You know, I wanted to be fair. I didn't want to just have something negative. We got somebody chiming in who is really down for the Atari as well. So people are split. It's going to be divided. That's the cool thing about gaming, though. You don't have to be dedicated to just one console. You can love them all. You can not like one of them. You can love one of them. It is what it is. That's the fun about gaming. You gravitate to what you like because you're the one that's playing the game. So thanks everybody for leaving those comments. Make sure you keep on leaving those comments. We're here. We're open for discussion. Yeah, we were replying to you guys. If we don't do it exactly from the Play Legit um, YouTube page, I definitely will chime in. You'll see me. You'll see Koerri, Elijah pop in. So one of us will get to you. Don't worry about it. And we definitely appreciate you. So keep it up. And, whatever you guys want to hear, like we said, leave it down in the comments. We see it all and we'll get to it for you guys. So super awesome. We definitely appreciate that. So KJ, man, I know you didn't watch this. You seem to not want to watch it at all, which is completely understandable, given some of the past things that we've seen recently with the title. So, state of play for The Last of Us 2. I watched it. It was 23 minutes. I watched the entire thing. I checked it out on PlayStation Europe's channel. Um, one thing I meant one thing I meant to do is to go check out the PlayStation USA channel to see if it was the same way, because the first thing I noticed when I got there was likes and comments were disabled. So there was no like dislike ratio at all. There is no opinions that could be said. And one thing that I thought was funny about that was, the person that was displaying this, I believe it was the program director, while he's detailing like, hey, the times are strange, things are weird, we would have loved to be able to do this in front of a bunch of people, to see your reactions in person. Unfortunately, we can't. And I just think it's funny that you care about people's reactions and what they think, but you disable comments and likes on the video. Now, given what has happened recently, which transpired in the past couple of weeks with this title, I understand why they would want to do that. But prefacing the video with saying we would love to be there with you guys to see your actual reaction, but then not allowing to people to give their reaction online was kind of like a, what are you talking about?
Yikes.
And that was like that. I'm not I'm not trying to be negative about this. I'm being completely objective about this whole thing, because going on, you'll understand as I go on further with this, right? Some of the leaks, some of the things that came out of the leaks, based on what we saw in State of Play, some of that is absolutely true. What they're doing with Ellie, it seems like the entire game is only solely revolved around Ellie and her story and her journey, which, she's not a bad character. I have a few questions because they say she's 19 in the game and she seems to be like a superhero somehow, which is whatever. It is what it is. She's a 19-year-old girl. More power to everybody, right? So I can understand where some people, like, where some of the backlash is coming from, right? Just story wise, presentation wise, how they're presenting the universe from what it was to what it is now after this time skip has happened. Whatever people's sexual preferences are, it is what it is. They definitely highlight that in the game, which is another reason why I feel like they may have disabled the likes and the comments, because they don't want to hear people's reactions to some of the decisions they've made to display. Um, you know, it's your game. You're going to do whatever you want to do. Just know that when you make decisions like that, there's always going to be, there's going to be people that agree with it. There's going to be people that don't agree with it. So that was definitely there. You could see that again in this demonstration. They highlighted two of the major factions, that are basically people that you're looking out for. There's the WLF, which basically, just to sum it up, is like a alt-right militia that will kill you on sight, which is funny because it's like this depicted as kind of like an alt-right militia, but watching the gameplay that they showed, a lot of the people that were members were like people that were like, we'll say, generally people you wouldn't think of to be alt-right militia type people, which is making it inclusive but also making it entirely confusing for people, kind of, in a way, or at least for me. I can only speak for myself. So there was like the alt-right militia group, and then they have like a cult, which is like supposed to be some super religious cult that is like cutting people open and doing a bunch of stuff, which is like, so they basically have extremes of two things that kind of falls into this tumbleweed of why people may be upset at the story direction of the game. Um, like I said, some people may like it, some people may disagree with it completely. They're making the game. This is the decision they decided to make when rolling out this game, right? So that's all I'm gonna say about like storyline. They didn't really tell too much. There were some cutscenes. Like I said, they displayed some things in it. Visually wise, like how the game looks, it looks good. It looks really, really good. They're using the latest Naughty Dog engine, so gameplay wise, I would say it's kind of bringing the game into the direction like we just saw with the Unreal Engine 5 that was just released, except detail wise, it was running on a PS4 Pro. So some of the things you know you might not be able to tell, but with this game upscaled to the PS5, it'll probably highlight them a lot more. Just simple thing, just to kind of uh, piggyback on that. Like there was a scene where they showed her going through like a dark area. She had a light on, and wherever the light shone, you could see the bugs moving away from the light, like you would see on the Unreal Engine 5. So from that aspect, I was like, okay, they put a lot of work in this. They said it's the biggest world they've ever created. It looks really good, and I will say, based off of the gameplay that they displayed, the gameplay looks really good. The game looks like it is a fun game to play. Hey, I like the first Last of Us, and it looks like it's playing off of that. It's playing just like that, except upgraded in some ways. And they said
It's
there's
a
a lot
sequel,
more.
Koerri.
I know, but sometimes there's sequels and they change things and it's just not the same, right? So I'm torn because story-wise, it's not necessarily something that's really appealing to me. The first one really was the universe that they brought us into, and like that aspect of it, of the whole, you know, the coming back into this world after this time skip. They're in an area where people are kind of separated from the craziness that's going on, and then her going back into the world of, you know, the parasite and all of this stuff. It looks like it looks great. It looks like the gameplay is going to be great. It looked like just playing the game, kind of what they were doing, going around with the different weapons, how you can kind of manufacture stuff as you're going around. It looks like it's going to be a fun game to play. I just don't know about the story. I feel like story-wise, it'll be disappointing. But I mean, if they release an online mode for it, it would be fun like the original. So
They
I
put a
mean,
bow on it the first time on the story. They put a bow on it. This is reaching for plot, reaching for plot, reaching for money.
mm-hmm. Yeah, but I would say they're reaching for money from people that may not have it, but they might. So if people can get what I'm trying to say. So, anyways, I mean, I think gameplay wise, I mean, I think I might get this game. At first, I was like, I'm not gonna do it. But I don't have anything to play right now. There's really, you know, I beat Final Fantasy VII. It's kind of dry out here, man. I'm telling you. And based off of the gameplay, it's one of those things where it's like, I'm not gonna get no Ultimate Edition. I don't want any of that. But I may get the base game because it looks like it is going to be fun to play. Story, I'm not really rocking with it.
You need to just get a bunch of indie games, man. Stock up on that. Save money.
Yeah, I mean, I dabble with the indie games too. It's just like I like AAA titles, man. It looks good. I got the surround sound. Like it's just nice to like be in the environment of a well done AAA game. It
I'm
just
looking for that Ghost of Tsushima. That's what I'm talking about. That's business. That's money. That's what I'm looking for.
I feel you. I feel you. I feel you. I don't know what they're doing with the direction they're going into. But you know, like I said, it is what it is. Hopefully, the gameplay really, really does outshine the other stuff that happens. And who knows? Who knows? Based off of what we saw, it seems like her Ellie's world gets flipped upside down, and then she just goes back out into the world. So maybe what everybody's upset about may only just be a small part of the game in the beginning, and then things develop on into the
That's
future.
true.
Who really knows? You know, until we actually get the game and we play the game and see what happens, we can't really say much. Yeah, there's leaks, but leaks are never definite. You know, I mean, they could have released leaks to build the buzz for all of this stuff, because bad press is good press. So I mean, never trust people with billions of dollars. Okay, this all could have just been a ploy to get people talking about the game. So, I mean, until we get it, then we can give our honest opinions. June 19th, 2020, the game comes out. So, like I said, more than likely I'll get it. If I do end up getting it, which I'm leaning towards I will, after I complete it, you'll definitely get a review from me. And I'll tell you how it was. I'll keep it real. I try to keep it objective. I know sometimes I feel like I lean towards sides and stuff, but I promise I try to keep it as objective as possible to keep things legit for you guys here. So June 19th, 2020, we'll find out more. We'll give you at least a first take or whatever, early opinions on the title around that time. So Last of Us 2 State of Play looks like it could be promising, but who knows? It could be a dumpster fire cloaked with great looking gameplay. All right, so let's keep things moving, man. And let's get into a realm of things that I kind of personally enjoy. And this is going to kind of piggyback on kind of where we were last week, back a little retro, bringing in a feature of Atari. Um, and this is them coming up with their own cryptocurrency, man. So I'm not sure how much kind of dabble with, or if at all dabble with cryptocurrency, or know about cryptocurrency, or the whole wave about it. But Atari revealed a partnership with Litecoin, which is one of the many major cryptocurrencies. What I say about Litecoin is kind of like the silver to the Bitcoin's gold. So they've teamed up with Atari to kind of help them manufacture their own cryptocurrency, but then also allow you to use Litecoin to purchase, their stuff. So if you wanted to say buy the VCS, you'll be able to buy the VCS with Litecoin at a discounted rate. So people that are kind of into crypto and maybe already be holding some Litecoin, I'm holding some Litecoin. And when I heard that, I was like, oh, well, I've had Litecoin, I've made gains on it. Basically, I'll be getting the VCS for free. So now, honestly, I wasn't contemplating getting a VCS, but now with this whole thing going on, I'm like, maybe I'll just get one because I have Litecoin and I can use it to get it. Just because Litecoin is one of those investments for me where it's like I'm just holding it, I'm hodling just to see what happens, because it goes up and it goes down, and you never know what might happen in the future. But cryptocurrency is one of those things where things are moving in that direction. So me personally, I'm not surprised at all to see Atari getting into this. This is eventually going to be kind of the play for everybody. Everybody's going to get into cryptocurrencies. I mean, for a while, going back to even the early 2010s, around 2012, 2013, a lot of people I know were working in the online sphere, whether it be like online retail, just people that are influencers, things like that, people that rely on people's donations, stuff like that, were utilizing cryptocurrencies to be able to make money, to be able to interact with their fans, a bunch of different things. I've even seen people create their own coins to sell their products, and kind of keep fans in a sphere where they can kind of keep on generating revenue. And I see this thing being big. Atari is kind of groundbreaking with this deal, and I feel like other companies are going to follow suit very, very soon.
I would have to agree with that. I think that I don't know if Atari will be the one who leads the charge, but I think that maybe they're the ones. Obviously they're going to be the first, gaming company to do this, and I think that they'll start a ripple effect in the future. I haven't really dabbled in it like you have, so I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, I know all about it. But I could see it being a method later on. It just seems like a future type deal where that's what's going to be the situation. So I could see, again, it would be like, for example, OnLive was a streaming gaming service, and that's gone now. But then the next thing is Stadia. We don't know. We don't know where state. I mean, it's not looking too good right now, but they might get some exclusives and turn some things around. But what I'm saying is, there's been initial versions of these different methods of gaming, and so cryptocurrency being implemented into gaming. Now, I don't know if Atari is going to be the one to really set the world on fire. Like OnLive was not the people to set the world on fire as far as cloud gaming goes, but they got their foot in the door. So I don't know, again, like I don't know if Atari is going to be that company that's going to really get everybody going, but I mean, I think they I think that this is something. Now, the VCS, I don't know. They're probably gonna, I imagine, have some type of interaction with the VCS. That the VCS is probably gonna turn into a slot machine.
Yeah, I mean, so I wouldn't necessarily call it necessarily. I mean, I guess. I mean, they literally are calling it the Atari Casino. So, I mean, I guess that's fair to say. But
Yeah, so why wouldn't the VCS be a part of that, brother?
right, right. So it's one of those things where it's like I get that, but I look at it from the standpoint of, say, all right, say this, right? Say we create a coin, right? But you needed to use, but we put out content that was under a paywall, right? So say we have free content, but then also have extra content, right? People use Patreon, things like this now, but that's a third party service where they basically they're giving someone a cut of their money to be able to interact with their fans and exchange currency with their fans, right? Now, looking at this as a future proofing type thing, communities are building and building and building and building and building, where it's becoming, like the digital world is almost like that's your home, right? You plug in to the digital world once you get home from work or school or whatever it may be, and that's where you live, right? And in America, we exchange our currency. We use the US dollar as our currency, right? Because we all live in America, and we all know, like, hey, I know this is worth something here, right? So building a community, even whether it's like the Atari community, whatever it may be, if they put out a currency, for one, it's branding. So if people are using their Atari coins or whatever they end up calling their coins, that's going to be sticking in their subconscious, but it's also going to keep them kind of in this, not necessarily a bubble, but it's going to keep them in this like self-made Atari economy, where all of these Atari fans, they may just trade these Atari coins between themselves for whatever interactions. They bet each other in matches or whatever it may be, and then you can go and use these coins to purchase new games or whatever it may be. It's a win-win for Atari because it kind of keeps people in the realm of Atari, where it's like they're using their money to get these coins, almost like buying VC or whatever. But then you don't just have to use it.
It's just not regulated to my player or
Right.
clothes.
You could use it for whatever you want to, right? So, and if you can earn it while you're playing games, it's basically making money while you're while playing video games for
I had
just
an
playing.
article a long time ago on the website. I'll try to find it, but I had like ideas for DLC, and I was just saying, like, let's say, for example, VC coins would carry over to the next game. But what I was also saying too is if, let's say, you buy a costume, and then let's say I go to Foot Locker and I buy shoes, then those shoes are also, my character in game can wear that. So I was thinking like what you're saying with Atari, but it's even deeper with what you're saying, because with Atari, they're keeping everything, that brand name is everywhere within that, and within that community that they establish, they're looking to establish.
Right. That's right. Which is genius in my opinion. Like, it's a smart move, and that's why I say, like, everybody's gonna follow. Eventually it's gonna be one of those things where it's like it's almost like having a YouTube channel, you know what I'm saying? Where like major media, NBC has to have a YouTube channel. You can't just be NBC and not have a YouTube. Like, if you want people to be if you want people to see your stuff, if you want to have most of the masses interacting with you, you have to be on YouTube. And it's just how things happen with technology. Things are changing, where it changes how you live your life. It changes how you spend your time, your energy, or what money you use, or whatever it may be. Especially with the way things are, you never know what might happen. You know what I'm saying? There's been things that happen in countries where countries topple. For example, Venezuela, a bunch of stuff went down. A bunch of people didn't have, there was hyperinflation. Their money was worth nothing. But they were able to utilize cryptocurrency to have a solid foundation where they could trade that with people that would actually use it and it would have value. You know, their Venezuelan money had no value, but this cryptocurrency
Right.
would have value. So, say you live in a country, you live in a third world country, but you have an Atari VCS. Something happens, but you have this giant stockpile of these Atari coins. There's going to be people on Reddit, there's going to be people everywhere that would be willing to trade you whatever you may need, especially if it's stuff like toiletries, stuff like that, for VCS coin or the Atari coin, whatever they end up calling it. So in a way, it's like creating a safety net. There's so much that you could do with it. It's definitely a super interesting topic. When you sent this over to me, I was like, dude, this is like, we literally could probably do a whole show on just this. But just to give like my quick rundown opinion on this, man, I'm definitely all for it, and I want to see more companies going towards that, and I know we will see it eventually, because it's one of those inevitable things. That's just the direction we're going into. People
I'm
want to
thinking
have that.
Nintendo's probably gonna have Mario coins. You know, the patent Mario coins.
It would
They'll be doing that.
it would be ingenious. People would want to just have it just to say they had it too. That's the thing. Like, people have to understand their brands, the strength of their brands, and know what they can do with this. But then also know that, you know, they have this solid foundation. People want to buy into these ecosystems. You know, um, all different types of companies. There's fanboys for everything. You know, if PlayStation was like, well, we have PlayStation coin, or Xbox is like, we have Xbox coin, people are gonna hop on it. People are gonna want to be balling out with their Xbox coin, doing whatever. You know, they're gonna be stunting, making TikTok videos about showing their running numbers up. It's crazy, but I definitely am. I'm excited for stuff like this. I've always been a fan of cryptocurrency. I'm like a big like advocate for like the world to kind of be open, for people to kind of be free and do whatever they like to do. And cryptocurrency is one of those things that kind of let people live the lives that they want to live. So I'm always going to be a fan of that.
So I still think the VCS is going to be a failure, but this part of what Atari's doing, it could it could have something.
Yeah. So I'm with you. The VCS, still don't think it's going to work out. I feel like they're going to be the sacrificial lamb, to, you know, use probably a bad analogy, but they're going to come out. They have this great idea, and they're going to be like, look what we did. And then no one's going to care. And then like PlayStation or Nintendo, Microsoft is going to come out, steal their whole model, roll it out the same exact way probably, and everybody's going to be like, you're geniuses. This is the greatest thing ever. That's how it goes, man. Sometimes it doesn't pay to be first. It just pays to be, you know.
Yeah, on live.
Yeah. Yep. So super cool though. Definitely an awesome thing. And while, you know, since we're talking about cryptocurrencies, we're talking about, you know, people spending money, why don't we go ahead and just queue up a word from our sponsors? All right, so we're back. KJ, man, so you just finished Hunt Down, man. You beat it on hard, right?
Yes, I
How was that?
did.
Let's get on into it, man. Let's hear the review for Hunt Down.
All right, man. So I'm reviewing Hunt Down. It's available on PS4, the Switch, the PC, the Xbox One. You are one of three bounty hunters: Anaconda, John Sawyer, or Mo Man. And Anaconda is this, she kind of reminds me of like a Foxy Brown type of attitude. And she has her special weapon. She throws a hatchet at people. And then John Sawyer, he has like a cyborg chin. And he says a lot of his quips are very Duke Nukem-esque. So he says a lot of tough guy stuff like that. And then he has a boomerang, which is pretty cool. He throws that, and obviously it comes back and stuff like that. And Mo Man is my favorite. He's just a straight cyborg, and he reminds me a lot of RoboCop, but he has a lot of witty things to say. And this whole game has nothing but really, really well written dialogue, and the voice acting is so cheesy. Oh, and Mo Man throws daggers. He throws like little throwing knives that are very useful. But yeah, going back to the voice acting, it's just really good. And because it looks like uh, a late 80s, early 90s run and gun shooter. So I'm thinking of games made by LJN and Ocean. I'm thinking about Metal Slug, RoboCop. Because it has that style, it's kind of a cool contrast that the voice acting is so good. Because, back in the day when you play those run and gun shooters, you weren't used to all that kind of audio. But this has so much voice acting going on. It's really impressive. And it's a true arcade experience. And you take on the meanest gangs. There's gangs that look like they're ripped from Mad Max. There's gangs that remind me of the Warriors. They have a hockey style, and the levels are really cool throughout. The artwork is really nice. It's overall carries a cyberpunk type of deal. Kind of looks like a Blade Runner for the most part. But there's definitely some areas that the art style changes a little bit. I will say the structure of levels, while they are very fun, the structure is very similar throughout. You'll be shooting outside, and then you go inside, take everybody out, and then there's a boss. So it's a lot of that, but that's a lot of fun, but it's still a lot of that. Um, Explosions, weapons, blood. It's so much happening on screen that though it looks old school again, this game could not have happened in the past. But it's such a cool combination of all these things. I want to point out too, the boss fights are so good. If there's two things that really got to me was the overall audio. So the music is really top notch too. It has a lot of that synth sound going on. So a lot of no kind of stuff, and it fits well. But the boss fights are what really makes this game because because the game carries that same format I was telling you about. That you're going to run into a boss at the end, but what you don't know is how that boss fight is going to turn out to be, because it's always different. There's always a surprise. That's where the surprises lie in Huntdown, is in its boss fights. The level 3 boss, he he sounds like one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. I don't want to spoil it, but I'm gonna go ahead and say a little something. He has a gasoline barrel and he throws at you, and he's like, "Here's some gasoline, yeah." So I can't really do the voice the best, but I laughed so hard I had to pause the game because first of all I was getting destroyed because I was playing it on hard, but then the boss was just so funny. And that's another thing. I read reviews and they said that the game is short. Yeah, if you play it on normal, admittedly it is a short game, is what I've been hearing. But I played it on hard with my roommate. Thank God they give you checkpoints, because if they didn't give you checkpoints, it would be a tough deal. It is still tough because we died so much, but it's good game design when after a certain point of dying so much, you're like, okay, you start to figure out the boss's patterns and what they're doing. And then when you finally overcome that boss, you feel so good. Some of the boss difficulties towards the end, I felt like I was playing Mega Man. So Mega Man with awesome checkpoints. So that's a pretty cool feature. Let's see what else is that thing else here. So tight controls, fun co-op, cheesy voice acting that fits perfectly. The boss fights will impress. The level structure, I think, if they could have mixed that up a little bit more. When you beat the game, you do get a badass difficulty, and basically where that is, if you take one hit, you die. So when you're playing on hard, if I get shot, my partner can revive me. But if you get shot in badass mode, you immediately just explode and you can't be revived. So it's just stuff like that. So I went through a few levels on badass, but I couldn't imagine playing like the final boss on badass mode, because that final boss was really tough. But I will say, Hunt Down is just a fun experience if you want that classic arcade style. Again, like, I can't say enough about the voice acting. I can't say enough about the bosses. But I will say I would have liked to have been a little bit more variation in the regular level from point A to point B structure. But overall, it's just a fun game, and it's only $20. So I'm actually going to give Hunt Down a 4.5 out of 5.
Oh, all right. Wow. That's what's up, man. Yeah, it sounds like a pretty dope game. I haven't checked it out yet, but I mean, it's only $20, man. I'll definitely check it out, man.
Yeah, I think
Nice.
you're guaranteed to laugh at least a few of the bosses, man. There's a lot of references. I mean, you talk about Last Dragon references are there too. That's all I'll say on that.
Awesome, awesome. But there you guys have it, 4.5 for Hunt Down. Awesome. Thanks for that, KJ. So I don't have a review for us, but I do have just some quick opinions, quick thoughts on this. A couple weeks ago, we were talking about, some of these Bandai games, and Shinobi Striker came up. You happened to say that the servers were cheeks. I said, I don't know. The game looked interesting. So there happened to be a sale going on. There's been a lot of sales, especially with everything that's been going on. So I
Yes.
so I picked up Shinobi Strikers for $9. It was $9, so I was like, okay, I'll pick it up. I could have got the Ultimate Edition with all the first season DLC and all that for $20, but I was like, no, 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 no. There's no need for all of that. If it's good enough, then I'll go pick it up. Let me just say, I will not be getting that DLC, and I have deleted the game off of my PlayStation. So
Would
it's
you say
fun.
it's booty butt cheeks? Is what
I
you're
will.
telling me right now, my friend.
It's definitely talking booty butt cheeks, Jim Carrey style, man. It's not horrible. It's so repetitive. There's not many combinations with your abilities that you can do. I thought it was going to be a lot more in depth than it actually is, and it was I was pretty disappointed. Level wise too, like just the rate that I was trying to earn maps, like, and just the way they handle the story, it's not really fluid. It's all basically just based off of your original character. It almost feels like a beta for a game that they want to release later, in a way, which is horrible. So for $9, if you have people that that already have the game that you want to play with, I could see it being a game that you could pick up, do a couple matches, and put it down if for $9. But if you're trying for like a solo single player going online and hitting the servers experience, don't waste your time. I'm not rocking with Shinobi Strikers. I got into it late, and I don't care that I did because I'm not getting back into it anyway. So, and I really like Naruto. Naruto is like one of my jams, and I'm disappointed in it. I really am.
I'm sorry, bro.
I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. I'm just glad I didn't spend $60 for the game. Anybody that spent $60 for that game, I'm sorry. I spent $9 for the game, and I'm disappointed. I spent $9 and I want my $9 back. So if anybody spent 60 or more with an Ultimate Deluxe Edition or whatever, buying DLC, wow. Wow. Low. So yeah.
People down below in the comments, on a scale of 1 to 5, what would you give Shinobi Strikers? Those who have played it, we want to hear from y'all. What would you give it? Koerri is not blessed. I can see that, but I was wondering, people who have actually had the game for a long time and really worked with it, what would you give it? Let's hear
Right.
from
And
you.
yeah, we want to hear. And this is coming from a guy that likes, I mean, I like Dragon Ball Xenoverse and Xenoverse 2. And some people
Yeah,
don't
against
really
fire.
like. Yeah, and some people don't like it, but that game is really, I think it's really fire. And I mean, just to piggyback on what you said, but I don't know why did they 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 messed up. They dropped the ball with Shinobi Strikers. That's all I'll say. There's so much potential with the Naruto universe, and what they came out with, super trash. That's all I will say. I'm not rocking with Shinobi Strikers. I want my $9 back. Also, if anybody wants to give me my $9, just comment down below, and you could just give me the $9. I'll take that too. But anyways, let's move on to good
Don't
Bandai
do that.
news.
Don't do that.
Let's move on to some good Bandai news. This is what the podcast is about. The 40th celebration, right? The 40th birthday for Pac-Man. Pac-Man is celebrated his 40th anniversary, 40th birthday on May 22nd. That was on Friday, I believe, a couple days ago. So, I mean, KJ, man, this is iconic. Like what I said earlier, I didn't know it was 40 years, but I'm 32 almost already. So I guess, it's not that crazy to think about. But I mean, this is something that's touched a bunch of people's lives. What's your opinion on Pac-Man, and what do you have to say for its 40th birthday celebration?
Pac-Man is just a durable game. I mean, you even, though a lot of the arcades are gone, you can still see a Pac-Man machine in a lot of locations. It's just an iconic game. It holds up so well. And Arcade Up, they have a 40th anniversary edition cabinet, and I've seen that at $3.99 and $4.99. And I think the $4.99 edition comes with like a stool that says 40th anniversary as well. It has Pac-Man Plus, Super Pac-Man, Pac and Pal, Pac-Land, Pac-Mania, and they threw in Galaga because you gotta have Galaga. But it's just cool that they're celebrating like that. I mean, I know they had like Pac-Man sales on their digital games as well. But when you think about Pac-Man, they've brought him back so many times on so many systems. How many systems have you owned since you were a child where you knew like, hey, there's going to be a Pac-Man? I mean, every system I've had, there's been a Pac-Man, some form of Pac-Man made available. And that's not for no reason. That's been done because people want to play it.
Oh yeah, it's that classic format. It's that challenge when you feel like you want to be challenged game. You always start off smooth, but how many levels? There's like what 999 levels or something like that in Pac-Man, and it gets harder after every one. I forget how. There's an insane amount of
Two
levels in Pac-Man.
256.
All right, so there's 256 levels, and it gets harder with every one. I mean, it's just one of those games where let me see how long I can go. Let me see how many levels I can get up to. Let me just kill some time with Pac-Man. It's just one of those. Just that classic game, and that's the thing about a lot of the classic games. And they show, they stand the test of time. If you make a classic game, Pac-Man, Pong, Super Mario, whatever it may be, even we could even throw Bomberman into the mix with this one too, right? Just those classic, simple in a way style games, but it's fun. And it's one of those things where it's like it doesn't matter if it's the original that you see on like an arcade cabinet, or if it's something that's updated to look. Even if they put Pac-Man on the PS5 and make it look amazing, it's not about how it looks, it's about how the game plays. It doesn't matter how the game looks. You can make it look nice. It's cool when you make it look nice, but you don't have to. It's going to be fun no matter what. It's just the game itself. It's an
Just like
original.
Tetris.
Yeah, it's a classic. It's like Tetris. It's one of those classics that never fails. It doesn't matter what you do with it. You could spice it up. You could put a bow on it. Wink, wink. You could do whatever you need to do. But it's going to be that classic play style. And people, it doesn't matter if you're 40 or 50 years old, maybe even 60 years old, or a 2-year-old kid, 3-year-old kid. If you can navigate the controller, you can play Pac-Man, and you're going to have a great time. It bridges the gap, it bridges the generations, and it's one of those classic games that's why you see Pac-Man show up in like a Smash Bros. That's why you see Pac-Man on clothes. There may be people that have never played Pac-Man that or don't even like video games that knows who Pac-Man is. Pac-Man is an icon. Pac-Man transcends gaming. Pac-Man deserves the respect that he is getting. And it's glad to see that even after 40 years, Pac-Man is still thriving. And you can expect something new from the title with every generation of video games. It doesn't
I
matter
would
because
have
that gameplay is gonna rock.
I would have worn my Pac-Man shirt, but it's in the wash. But I wear it because I love Pac-Man.
That's that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not gonna get it, but I have a Pac-Man. I got like a Pac-Man amiibo out here just standing up, but I don't want to get up and go grab that. But we got Pac-Man. We got love for Pac-Man all day, every day, and there's an awesome, like, it just looks cool, just like you said, the shirt. I know there's, like, I forget like the name of the company that makes like the suits, like the gaming suits, but there you could find like a Pac-Man like suit, jacket, and pants, like a full suit that's like literally just Pac-Man. Super super dope. I would get married or in that or something like that, go to
Oh my
someone's
goodness.
wedding or something with a Pac-Man suit on. Who knows? But I think it's so iconic, and you can't hate on it. It just looks cool, that whole retro vibe, that just, the nostalgia of it, just the Pac-Man. I mean, there was a Pac-Man TV show too at one point, wasn't there?
That's right. When Toru Iwatani made Pac-Man, there's no way he would have thought like, hey, that it would have blown up like this. So happy 40th anniversary to the main
Yeah,
man.
yeah. I mean, like I said, it transcends gaming. It's made it that big. It's literally, Pac-Man is a pop culture icon, and it deserves all of his flowers, because the game is a classic. It's one of those that, like, just thinking back, like, earliest gaming memories, Pac-Man is definitely one of those that comes up. So it lives on with everyone. And those of you out there, say you have kids of your own, kids in the neighborhood, you got nieces, nephews, whatever it may be, introduce them to Pac-Man. Do that for them. Do them that
Oh yeah,
solid.
that's right. I didn't share my memory before we move on. So one of my obviously playing it at laundromats and arcades and stuff like that, of course. But then I don't know whose parents would do this too. But my parents, when I was a lot younger, they would say, "Oh yeah, you're playing," and it'd be like, "You're actually not playing, but they tell you you're playing." And it's just press start screen, but you're like on the, yeah, yeah, I'm doing it. And they'll be like, "Oh yeah, go KJ, go Chris, you're doing it, yeah." But they put no money in the machine, but because you're a child, they're like, "Oh yeah, you're playing." So
Mhm.
that happened to me a lot with Pac-Man, and I was like, "Wait a second, why is it that I'm playing and all of a sudden it goes to a cutscene with the ghost?" And then I started to put the pieces together.
As your mind starts developing, like, no, I didn't see you put any quarters in the machine. What's going on? Yeah, man. Yeah, I
They
mean,
got me hard on a pole position too. I really thought I was killing it on pole position. Just driving.
and
Anyway,
yeah, man. Good times, good times. Yeah, Pac-Man is definitely a classic. Definitely remember all the times playing with my brothers. Classic game. Lots of lots of, come on, man, you got eaten past the sticks going on with Pac-Man. You got to watch out for them ghosts. Got to watch out for them ghosts, man. So coming down to the end, man, since we're kind of talking about like the nostalgic vibes, we're going back to stuff that goes way back to arcade cabinets, going back to the 80s. I want to know, like, what's your favorite classic arcade game of all time from the 80s? What's yours? I'll give mine.
well, we're going to put a bow on things, bringing it back. I'm going to say Ms. Pac-Man. I think is the greatest 80s arcade game of all time because it basically just took Pac-Man and made it faster, and of course to two-player as well. Look, it's like we said, it's just a game that regardless of who you're with, I feel like anybody can just grab it and, despite their skill level, have some sort of fun and enjoyment out of it, despite now the outdated graphics. I mean, it just holds up, man. I can't. There's not too many games that I could think of instantly that hold up so well and that so many people can just jump in and play and have fun and not think twice. Just I'm at the grocery store, there's a Pac-Man machine. I got a quarter in my pocket. Miss Pac-Man, let's get it. Plain and simple.
No, I definitely feel you there. It is a classic, and I love the multiplayer aspect of it too. Like I said, like going back to the having brothers trying to force them to pass the sticks when they died. When Miss Pac-Man came out, it was like, all right, yeah, no, we're competing now, though. Yeah, I'm coming for you, bro. I'm coming for you. So Miss Pac-Man, I agree with you there. That's a nice classic from the 80s. For me, my favorite, I will have to say, is going to be Double Dragon. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up, I have an older brother. He's like a year older than I am, and some months, some change or whatever. So we're really close in age. We spent a lot of time with each other. Unfortunately, when we were young too, my grandma, she used to like dress us up in matching outfits and stuff like that. Super cringe. I could understand like why people would do that. I guess I would never do that with my kids, but so we were like, he was like, I mean, we're best friends, you know, even to today, we're like super, super close. So Double Dragon was the game that we would always play when we would go to the movies. I'm a super huge movie buff. My godmother would take us to the movies like almost every weekend. We'd always go see something different, but we always had to have that time in the arcade before the movie started. And Double Dragon was our go-to, just because, you know, it's that co-op, it's that beat 'em up. It's one of those classic games too, where, you know, you can make it far without dying. There's that ratio where, yeah, you might get beat by a boss, but it's also, I'm a kid and I don't have that much money. So what game can I play that will last me the longest without me having to waste all of my tokens? And Double Dragon was that game. You know, we would run through it all the time. Definitely picked it up on console when it was available on console as well. But I just remember so many times going to the theater, hitting up the arcade, playing Double Dragon with my brother. It's honestly one of like maybe the earliest memories that I have. You know, just in the early 90s, I think like back to like 1992, being like a 4 or 5 year old back in like 92, 93, hitting up the movie theater, playing the game. It was just super fun. So, Double Dragon is my favorite, and it's funny because I always kind of looked at like me and my bro as like as Billy and Jimmy in a way. So it's kind of cool. That's Double Dragon's my throwback classic '80s. You know, as an
Now
'80s
you know we
baby,
gotta
I
see
gotta.
that picture soon.
I'm not sure. You're gonna have to. All right, so
Come on now.
I got them too. I got them. You guys are gonna have to comment down below, and you guys are gonna have to sub to the channel, guys. And I'm gonna be doing some verification. If you ask for it and you're not sub to the channel, it's not gonna happen. But sub down below, blow up them comments, and I got some funny like Donald Duck styled outfits for you guys that me and my brother were matching. Definitely good times, good times, good times. But it's gonna take a little bribing from you guys in the comment section for me to actually release that on the internet for me to get clowned. So
Oh my goodness.
good times. It's just like early memories. Us like driving down to Georgia and Florida and going to the beach in Daytona Beach. On Daytona Beach, just wearing matching outfits, looking ridiculous like sailors. Like, come on, yo. What's this all about? What's this all about? But
I'm an
good
only
times.
child.
Ah, you're lucky, man. Yes, you're lucky. And then, I bet that sometimes you're probably like, man, I wish I had a brother, or I wish I had like a sister that I had to look out for. But also not having to share your stuff, I'm sure you really like.
And people ask me, "What's it? How is it?" And I'm like, I can't compare it. I don't know. It's like I don't know.
It's like my life's been this entire time.
Yeah.
No, no, I feel you. Yeah, I got I don't know. I'm the I'm not the youngest, but I was the youngest. I lived with my grandmother, so I had like a nice like chunk of time where it was kind of cool, where it was only me there, and I was like 15. So it was like my grandma, but she's my mother, but she's my grandma. So she spoils me like she's my grandma, and I'm like the only grandkid there. So she's just like always spoiling me there. So I kind of felt like an only child for a little bit, but that was like kind of like later on in my, in my youth, my mid-teen years back in the mid early 2000s, 2003, 4 time. A long time ago, which was almost 20 years ago, but I'm not going to talk about that because Pac-Man's not old and neither am I. Yeah, I'm just telling that to myself.
If
But
you say
anyways,
so.
Anyways, it's before I get any more cringe, guys, we definitely appreciate you guys checking out the show tonight. It's been super dope. Just getting into all these topics. We want to hear from you guys, though. What did you think about the show? What do you think about what we're talking about? Let's keep these conversations going in the comment section down below. If you're listening to the audio version of this on Spotify, on iTunes, on Apple Podcasts, on Anchor, whatever it may be, hit us up. Hit us up on Twitter, hit us up on Instagram, hit us up on Facebook at Play Legit. You can find us anywhere. Let us know what you guys think about the show. Let us know what you guys want to hear. Let us know what you want to see from us. And also stop by playlegit.net, because again, that is the home, that is the hub. That's where you're going to find everything legit when it comes to gaming and real talk. That's the home. So please check out playlegit.net. We appreciate everybody checking out the show. It's been a great one. Episode 14 was fun. You guys want to make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can see what's going on in episode 15. But until then, guys, it's been a good one. KJ, you got anything before we get out of here?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, the Arcade One Up company, they're killing it, man. It's, they got that Ninja Turtles cabinet with the the classic games on there, but they have that NBA Jam cabinet coming out, and that's gonna have online play. So it's gonna have NBA Jam Tournament Edition and NBA Hang Time with online play. And I don't know if there's any truth to this part, but I'm hearing that they might have Michael Jordan in it too. So I don't know if that's legit. The other part is 100% real, but yeah, I'm believing. I hope so. That would be tight.
Oh, wow. So it's going to be built-in Wi-Fi to the cabinet to get you online, or like a built-in wireless capabilities for the cabinet? That's
That
pretty
I
ill.
don't know.
All right, well, we're going to have to look more into this. That sounds super exciting. We'll probably get more in depth in that with the next episode. So you guys, please make sure you come back. Stay tuned. Keep it locked to Play Legit Network on YouTube and playlegit.net and Play Legit across the board. And until then, it's been nice. I've been your good host, Koerri Elijah, here with KJ, and we are out.
Peace.
Oh, and peep the awesome outro we got for you guys. And I hope you like the intro as well.
I spent money on it.